Well, we've been discussing in the programme today the unease among many Conservative MPs who are deeply unhappy about the new tier system of restrictions that will be brought in England on Wednesday. Boris Johnson has suggested that millions of people could come out of the top tier in mid-December, and he also promised that MPs will get another vote in the new year. But is it enough to placate the unhappy Conservatives? Well, joining us now is one concerned backbencher, Pauline Latham. Thank you very much for being with us this morning. So the Prime Minister has written to MPs to try and reassure them about this new tier system. Has he done enough to make you feel better about it?
Well, he certainly changed a tone, and I think that's partly due to the fact that we've got a new regime in number 10, and he is listening much more to MPs than he was in the past. So that's a good thing. And my concern really is that there are many hospitality businesses that have spent tens of thousands of pounds making themselves COVID secure, and yet they can't open. I mean, where I live here in Mid Derbyshire, we reluctantly but willingly went into tier 2 before lockdown. We've had lockdown and now we're in tier 3. So many of those businesses in the country, not just here, will not survive if they can only open for 5 days of Christmas. That's not enough to compensate them for what they have lost over the run up to Christmas, because that's what they rely on. Now, I'm not saying everybody should be going out and going into hospitality businesses, but the younger people and those who are safe who could go, those who are older can stay at home if that's what they choose to do. But there has to be a balance. And I'm very saddened by the fact that in this area and further north we're in tier 3, because I think that the R rate has come down and therefore we are in a much better place than we were before lockdown. And yet we're in tier 3, and it's a difficult thing to persuade people to abide by. I mean, I am trying to persuade people, I'm trying to talk to people to say we've got to do this, but actually I'm concerned because of the businesses that will go to the wall due to this, and the extra suicides and all the other depression, the elderly people who can't see their families as much as they'd like to. It's all a very difficult situation.
So it's clear you have some real concerns about the impact on your own constituency and also more widely. Does this mean that on Tuesday, when MPs will vote on the tier system, are you going to be supporting the government?
Well, I'd like to see the data. I'd like to see their evidence, more evidence than we've been given. If we can see that, then I do feel I might be able to support them, particularly as we're looking at having another vote in January. But for some of those businesses, 9 weeks is a very long time when they should be making a lot of money. Christmas, New Year, that's when they need to make their money. To carry them through the quieter months of January, February, and it's not just hospitality, it's also retail. They need people to be able to go through the shops and spend money, which they can do. They will be able to do that, but hospitality is much harder. So I'd like to see the opportunity to vote before 9 weeks is up. But I do genuinely want to see the evidence. I want to see that data that the Prime Minister is basing his decisions on. And he's got a difficult job. I'm not decrying his job, it's really hard. But I don't believe he can just listen to the medics. He has to listen to people in the economy. We've seen Rishi Sunak do an amazing job. He's thought outside of the box. He's saved a lot of jobs. And he said he can't save them all. I accept that. But hospitality is a huge industry. And once it's gone, it'll be hard for it to come back. It will come back, but it might take several years before it comes back. There'll be new people want to take up those businesses. That's the nature of things. But I don't want to see the people currently employed and working really hard to make it safe for people to go to the wall now.
At the same time, though, you talked about your own constituency starting off in tier 2 before lockdown and ending up in tier 3. But isn't that the whole point? The restrictions weren't tough enough before, and that's why we ended up in a lockdown. You can understand, can't you, why things have to be tightened?
Yes, I mean, it is difficult. I accept that it's very difficult. But if it's true that we're told that the R rate has come down, we've always been told right from the beginning of the pandemic that once the R rate goes below 1, then we're in a much better place. The R rate was above 1, quite a way above 1 before the lockdown. It's now below 1. So why have we gone into a higher tier than we were before? We need to be in tier 2. I think everybody could live with tier 2. We can work around that, and that gives hospitality businesses the opportunity to trade. Although I have to say, wet pubs, it's difficult for them because they can't always supply what's called a substantial meal. But I'd like to see relaxation on that so that people can go to the pub, socially distanced, secure, sitting at tables that are distance away from others and served at the table. It won't be the same experience as normal, but at least it will be an opportunity for people to go out.
Damien Green, another Conservative MP, has written in the Sunday Times today saying, "I've been in Parliament for 23 years and it's hard to remember a time when I've seen so much anger, both at the way that MPs are being consulted about their areas and at the way our constituents are being forced to lead their lives." I mean, you obviously speak to your colleagues all of the time. How strong is that anger, and how many people do you think are actually willing to break the whip?
I think it'll depend very much on what Boris does between now and Tuesday. If he produces that evidence and he can prove to us that he's got good evidence to go on, then I think he won't have a rebellion. But I think there will be a lot of people, I don't know how many. And you say I talk to people all the time. Sadly, we're so socially distanced in
Oh,
Parliament, it's
WhatsApp,
quite hard.
surely. Everyone's heard about the WhatsApp groups.
Yes, there's the WhatsApp groups. People are not happy. And I've certainly been contacted, not just by hospitality businesses, by constituents who don't want to live this way. Now, obviously, older people, it's more dangerous for them. So they don't have to go out. Nobody is making them go out. Nobody is saying you must go to a pub. But I think there needs to be freedom for those people. Lots of people live on their own these days. It's really, really tough for them. And MPs are only reflecting what their constituents are saying to them.
OK, we're out of time. Thank you very much for being on the
Thank
programme
you.
this morning. Pauline Latham there.